Adelaide's always tough over there. They're tougher when they're coming off a loss than they probably never expected to see.
Yeah, well, they've had a loss. We had a loss. It just goes to show the improvement over the competition over the last couple of years. The Saints have, they're striving for consistency like the rest of us. And they had a great game against the Crows. You would say that the Crows were down on their performance over their history, like perennial, finalists and top of the league team. So I'm sure they'll come out firing this weekend to prove a point that was just a bit of a blip in the radar. Just like our game last week, we want to bounce back and be far greater in the game from quarter one to quarter four. So we're expecting a really tight game over there. Historically, the last couple of games have been fought, in the same vein. So throw Chelsea Randall back into the mix and a bit of fight and fire there as well. And I'm sure they'll be up and about, just like we need to be ready for that too.
Did you pick up anything St Kilda did that maybe took Adelaide out of what they wanted to do?
Yes and no. Different systems and styles support game, but they seem to have a bit more control on the outside of the game than they have in the past, which, when you control the game with via handball chain or kick mark and build the ball up with a bit of system and style, it's hard to defend the ball movement, and I thought they did that well against the Crows. Their inside game around contest was pretty consistent too, from 1 to 4. So, listening to both the coaches reflect on the game, they reiterated those points. But that's the challenge from week to week, is to make sure that you're matching inside firepower with fire, and then your element of control on the back of that can support moving the ball in the right direction efficiently. And that the Crows had 50 inside 50s and didn't score. That's a threat that we need to make sure we're prepared for. So their contest work and going forward was fine. If they can get those pieces of the puzzles together, they're going to be really hard to play against again. So, we had a game last year against them late in the year. I think it was the last game of the season where they got that right in the second half, and we just couldn't match it for the entirety. So that's our challenge. But the Saints did a really good job of controlling how the game was moved and how it was played and what tempo.
Can I ask about selection in terms of obviously extended squad for Sunday, but Zali admitted and then Kate injured. Do you know the severity of the Kate going forward?
Yeah, just a bit of a niggle on her calf, so expecting short term for her. 2 or 3 weeks. She's already had a week of rest, so hopefully it's just a short term turnaround for her. So next couple of weeks we should get her back.
Do you expect any? Is there any group in that group of 5 coming to the extended?
Anyone surfing?
I guess Lexi's in there as a possible debut, or?
Yeah, there's a possibility. We have to get her in the team at some point, so she's knocking the door down. Top 10 draft pick, lots of talent, good size. She's been training as a defender, so we're just waiting. She's waiting her turn to get a look at it. Apart from others that are coming in, so Chantel Mason will come in this week and play as a forward. She's played 1 game. That 1 game against Brisbane was with a stress fracture, which no one knew about. So she hobbled her way through, the poor thing, but got through it. But she's done really a great job over the pre-season to get herself in a position to play and support. Erica Fowler will come in for her first game as well to support our ruck and our height. So a couple of changes to our team there that we can certainly talk about.
So it's like for like in terms of Derby?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah.
Just on Zali, obviously she can't go back and play and work on something, but what's the messaging to Zali? You 1 game in and you've omitted her. What do you? Well, there are scrimmages that the girls can play this week, so she can go back and play the scrimmage to work on some of her craft that we reflect on from last week. Just the things around consistency for her. It's a tricky position to play as an outside runner on the wing and have involvements in the game, so you have to make the most of those chances when they do come your way. And it's something that she's worked really hard on over a period of time, and she's been a great player for us and will continue to be a great player for us. But there's a few things she needs to work out around contest and just about using her attributes to the fullest. And we had a great conversation around. It's never easy to tell a player who's been a consistent member of the team for a long period that they need to go back and work on a few things here and there. And she trained the house down, as I always do, to show the coach that I've got more to give. She knows where her improvement needs to be, and she's quite aligned with working towards making them better. Dale's joined the injury list that a lot of them are 3 plus.
Yeah.
Are you working towards a contingency where you might have to bring players into the squad? I think you're, 25 now, you picked from.
No, we're okay. We haven't even talked about, adding train-ons or what the other alternative might be for us. I think the girls coming through from those injuries are already training with us, which is exciting. So it gives us trust that they're going to be playing, sooner rather than later. We've got travelling emergencies. We've got enough players on our list that we will play. We don't need to go down the path of train-ons just yet. Even though our train-on list is a quite strong list, we've been rapid the way they've been training and playing with us in the VFLW or in our training blocks, but we don't need to go down that path just yet.
We did the Chloe Shear dance last season, and you had that hope that we would see her at some stage. Are you still optimistic she can play a role in 2025?
Yeah, I am. I'm optimistic. Like, that's putting zero pressure on anyone to force her back in the team. If she's fit and she's available, we'll play her, and that's the hope towards the back end of the year. But it's one of those things where it's just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we'll just we'll plan for next year for having her in the team at some point. But I'm always optimistic. Just the way she's walking around the club, she's far more positive than she has been before. Like, she's had a few things to kind of fight through, and it looks like she's fighting a really good fight. So if things work out well and she's available, I don't think we hesitate. Picking a player that can kick 20 goals in a season. So yeah.
I'm sure you've seen Tom Atkins is celebrating a 150th tomorrow. What's it been like having him as a development coach on board with you this year?
Oh, it's been awesome. Like, it's to the point where we're like, really, 150 games? He just doesn't say anything about his own accolades or his own personal gains. He's added just a sense of balance to our group in regards to, if you want to be a great AFLW player, you need to be consistent. And it's these kind of things that support consistency, and that's as a program what we're working towards. And he brings this kind of like straight-laced, this is what you need to be doing, A, B and C, and it gives you a good chance to be the best version of yourself. And his story speaks for itself around just doing the same thing. So, coming from local footy into VFL men's, and then, all of a sudden he's playing exactly the same from, local footy into AFL, which is, it speaks volumes for the guy he is. Yeah.
Does it make you feel old, considering you played local footy against his old man?
Oh, I didn't. That's not quite true. I'm not that old, but no, a little bit. I mean, I was his midfield coach in the VFL when he's playing with Geelong in the VFL, and he's the same guy now as he was, 5 or 6 years ago. His principles haven't changed, and his approach to the game haven't changed, and it's no wonder and no surprise from our end why he's such a bloody good player and being consistent for the club. So he's a huge asset for our program, huge asset for me in regards to perspective around just midfield culture and principles. So I'm learning a lot, and the girls are learning a lot too.
Is the Ash Centra bounce going to make its way into regular AFL bouncing techniques?
Phenomenal. Oh, look, amazing to have that be so widely looked at now across the men's and women's, like as a cultural perspective. I don't follow TikTok and those things as broadly as the rest of the group, but it's certainly galvanised men's and women's footy for the period now. And this new group of players coming through from last year's draft, and going forward, they're just going to make the competition go from strength to strength. I know we've been practicing it, training it behind closed doors. I can't do it, but the girls are pretty good at it. Yeah.
Can I ask in terms of Kate Kenny? Obviously last year she played more as a kind of forward. Seems like she's gone a little bit more up into the wing, training there. In terms of that move, is that more of you expect her to kind of go predominantly there throughout the season? And what was the logic in terms of making that move?
Just experimenting with her strengths. Like, she's a tall, strong, fast player. She's a great kick of the footy. So we just thought that maybe playing her as a forward was holding her back in regards to maybe the things she could do on the field, as opposed to keeping her condensed at one end, opening the field up for her to use her attributes more. And we saw that during the pre-season. She's a metres game player, so getting those metres through run and carry and driving a long kick into her front half, we think is probably more influential than playing closer to goal, even though she's got those attributes as well. It's a tricky place to play as a high forward, trying to read the game when you've never played it before. So this gives her more options to be involved in the game. She was fairly good last week in regards to just her first proper hit out against the last year's premiers. She's learned a lot. She's an exceptional student of the game, so she'll get better as she progresses. But she's just got too many attributes to kind of to leave close to goal and not see how she goes up the field. So hopefully she gets better and better.
be good to learn how to work with, like, in terms of like the structure around the contest as well, and working with her about her positioning.
Yeah.
To kind of come into that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And she's got the size and strength to support if we need to put our wingers inside to, you know, equalise around contest, which a lot of the teams are doing at the moment. They're prioritising contest wins, throwing extra numbers around the footy with their forward or a winger. So have we got the size and strength to combat that or to use to our advantage? And she supports that too.